boomer. But he said if you grew up in a small town, you're actually the previous generation. In my case, they're the greatest generation.
Yeah.
So that's what I identify with more.
Sure. Because you're more connected, right?
Yes, I am.
More connected. Yeah. Wonderful.
Grew
Once
up
again.
in a town of 2,000 in eastern Washington.
It's beautiful.
I raised my daughter here in Klamath, small town.
Hence you got that mental attribute to be connected with the entire expanse of the land.
I was glad to be. I met my wife in Illinois. She's from the east, but we've got to live out here in the country, you know. And I was so glad to be able to raise my daughter in this country, right in this outback, you might say.
Well,
back country.
Yes, but it's a wonderful country.
She learned how to fish and shoot and things like that.
Everything.
She went to Oregon Tech and met her husband there.
Sharpening the mind, hardening the body, and softening the heart, right? What a wonderful way to be. Great.
And we've already got eldest granddaughters already.
Are they in the same?
Even 3, and they put her on the bunny hill and she's skiing like she's.
How wonderful! Yeah. How wonderful to be. I hope they progress into a strong and more versatile life. Strong women and versatile women, and they show the way forward for the men. I should say now.
Well, we partly homeschooled our daughter through high school.
The only way forward.
Christian school, and then we homeschooled her.
Absolutely, the only way forward is to step out of the syllabus and the curriculum, which is not relevant anymore.
Well, even we had a conservative Christian. We've heard of Bob Jones University. They used except in math, we used Saxon math, which enabled her to handle college math away.
Sure.
But Bob Jones, they're from Greenville, South Carolina, and they're located in a place called Wade Hampton Road. And so their interpretation of Civil War history is what we'd call in history, in historiography, the Dunning School, the Southern one. Very Southern to states' rights and sympathy, but
very different.
But I'm Union.
Sure.
She got other things she's thought on her own.
Right.
And so she's a little more Northern.
Sure. Catching up with yourself.
My great-great-grandfather Levi, the guy of likely Ashkenazi Jewish descent who joined the 9th Indiana Cavalry. And then moved west and allowed his daughter to marry Joe, he was born in England, but he's only 70, married into an English family.
So it's bringing in history.
Apparently he wasn't too devout. They all
got distance away from.
Yeah, they weren't anywhere. Where they grew, the towns there weren't any synagogues in there. Maybe I don't even know if St. Joe had them. Kansas City sure had them because one of Harry Truman's close friends was a guy named Eddie Jacobson. They tried and failed in a shirt-selling haberdashery business together. And
from the east.
Harry becomes president. The various Zionist groups contact Eddie. You have to talk to Harry about Israel. We've just been independent. They're besieged. You gotta. Okay, he comes to his friend Harry, and they don't care. He calls Eddie a kike, and I don't know. I'm probably Eddie calls him a goy and whatever. But they're buds, and whatever. But
oh gosh.
Anyway, Harry says we've got to recognize Israel. Right. And then of course, liberal Jews were the mainstays of the Democratic Party but then he went on beyond that. But Harry called himself a Lightfoot Baptist. He's a Baptist who'd take a drink.
Oh, okay.
He didn't drink as much as Winston Churchill
did.
But boy, he loved. Actually, Winston and him got along better because Harry was more honest than FDR. Harry was loyal to FDR, and he didn't like it when Joseph Kennedy was bad-mouthed. He killed young Joe and everything. And Harry went to say, "Are you going to throw this guy out at the window, or am I?" But privately, Harry would say FDR. He lies a lot. So he and There's
What
a
do
lot
you-
of the oral history with Harry. He's very fond. He and Winston just hit it up. They're such honest people. You know.
I presume he spoke through the truth into the lie.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, spoke the
Well-
truth to power and whatever.
Well, spoke the truth to the lie, right?
Yeah.
You only realize afterwards.
Yeah.
This is how the life is all
Yeah.
about.
He
It's
was-
all a story
Yeah.
until you get to a point
Yeah.
where the story doesn't match.
Yeah.
So you call it a
Oh,
lie.
Yeah. Well, and then after he talked to this Jewish, but he knew Harry knew he did the right thing. I am Cyrus. You know the story there. They're the ones that had the Israelites come back into the land after
Sure.
captivity. I am Cyrus.
Well, is this all those different, how do you say it, different variants today?
Yeah.
Conversing about the differences?
Yeah. Harry would be considered very conservative.
Too.
Well, John Kennedy would be considered very conservative.
Sure.
And actually, Robert, the oldest son of Robert Kennedy, he's kind of, well, he's irreverent when it comes to pharmaceutical. He's cautioning. Before this, he cautioned about vaccines, but he's on the bad to the left now because this shot isn't all what it's touted to be. Is
Sure.
what he said.
Well,